It's well, it's almost 2 o'clock, so I'm ready to start. And I welcome people who are already here on this Saturday afternoon. Hope you are all getting ready to take part in the second round of Olympiad tomorrow. And wish you all the luck. I will do it again tomorrow. Good afternoon, Evgenia. Well, I assume people can hear me okay. Yes, so my microphone is working fine. Yes. Thank you, Evgenia. So at least I know, oh yes, I know that. Oh, Galina, nice to see you again. And Ekaterina Kondratova, thank you very much for providing this feedback. Anastasia, you as well. Okay, well, as I understand, people will be coming and joining us, but it's time to start. As advertised, this webinar is mostly about structural markers, discourse markers, but I will give you a short theoretical outline, just kinds and types and some well, systems which are suggested to categorizing them. We'll do some practice, and at the end there's a short track on listening. As I also said in the previous webinar, I would try to do. Okay, so structural markers, structural discourse markers. Well, one of the definitions for the discourse markers was introduced by an American linguist, Deborah Schifrin. You see her photos. She did that in 1988. She has, since that time, she has deceased, I'm afraid. But her work is widely used. So her definition is that discourse markers are words and phrases used to manage and organize the structure of discourse, the structure of what we are saying or writing. They connect sentences without changing the general meaning. We know them very, very well as linking words or linking phrases or sentence connectors. Right, in the chat. Neolisa, I started right on time at 2 o'clock. And if we continue, discourse markers, of course, help us to make speech and writing both logical and coherent, because without them, the readers and listeners would have had many more problems with understanding what people want to say or write. Another linguist, this time from Israel, Yael Manshra, suggested a categorization for these discourse markers. She puts them into 4 categories: interpersonal, referential, cognitive, and structural. Some of them are more for speech, others are both good for writing and speaking, and some of them are mostly used in writing, of course. If we speak about interpersonal discourse markers, they show, they help us to show, to show the relationship between the listener and the speaker. They can be well, about perception, about agreement and disagreement, or amazement. I didn't put any any examples here? Well, like agreement, disagreement, you know all of them. Amazement is when you listen to somebody and say, oh, wow, that's so surprising, so interesting, so exciting. Well, referential discourse markers indicate this sequence or causality, the cause and effect relationship, or coordination. The first example here is about the sequence. In this dialogue, you see that people just show the order of events. The next example demonstrates the causality, the because, and similar expressions. And coordination is, of course, and or non-coordination, but, and there are other similar expressions and linking words. The next category, the next part in the category is cognitive course markers. They reveal the thought process of the speaker during the conversation. And here's the example. We can show that we are processing information, that we realize something, understand something suddenly, or we can try to rephrase what we're saying. The last one is good for writing and speaking accordingly. And the last type is structural.
I'm sorry, we can't see the presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. When did you stop seeing it?
At the first slide, actually.
What was the last thing you saw?
The first slide was the last.
Oh dear, thank you very much. So I will have to repeat them. Once again, can you see it now?
Yes, now we can.
Thanks a lot. I didn't see the chart probably for the same reason. Let's go back again. Do it very quickly. Technology sometimes is a disaster. Once again. So as I was saying, here is a lovely, well, you heard the definitions. Here's the lovely picture of Deborah Schifrin from an American university in Georgetown, who gave us one of the definitions. And Yael Manschler have 4 categories: interpersonal, referential, structural, and cognitive discourse markers. Interpersonal, showing the relationship in terms of perception, agreement, disagreement, and amazement. Referential, structural discourse markers, they can show the sequence of events or actions, the causality, cause and effect, result and cause, consequence, and coordination or non-coordination between things that are said, actions, or some situations. And cognitive discourse markers reveal the thought process, where we can show the processing of the information, the realization, understanding, and rephrasing. And the last one is structural. The last type is structural course markers, indicate the hierarchy of the actions in a conversation. So it can be organization, firstly, secondly, introduction, summarization. So this is these are the linking words which are both good for writing and speaking. The examples are from speaking, but of course you used such things in writing, and your students did as well. Well, that was a very short theoretical introduction. And what we mostly do in writing is, of course, the referential and structural discourse markers. Referential ones show the relation between the actions in different kind, and we structure the text with the structural discourse markers. What you have here is a short exercise with some linking expressions at the top. Could you please try to put them into the text? We could also talk about which type each of them is. I guess I'm waiting for your answers in the chat. Here is Julia and Elena and somebody else. Yes, and Galina. Thank you very much for taking part, being active. Right. Well, obviously, first of all, is something to start with. Right. We have first of all, and in other words, as numbers 1 and 2 so far, from all the people who are writing. What about number 3? Well, so Galina thinks it's and Anastasia as well, and Yelena joins them. They all think that it, for example, would be the perfect linking word for this. And thank you, Alessia, for writing these bright yellow numbers on the screen. Julia. Next. Next for number 4. Good. Right, number 5, as it were. Okay. Next is number 4, as it were, number 5. And number 6 is lastly, of course, and in summary as the last one. Right. Okay. So what kinds of structural markers do we have? What are the different functions of them? What are the functions which are present here? So in sequence, that would be showing, but not all of them show sequence, right? That would be first of all, next, and lastly. Organization. Yes, they're all organization. Some of them show sequence. What about things like, in other words, and as it were? Is it about sequence? Rephrasing, right, so they are cognitive. Paraphrasing, rephrasing, right, and we also have, well, summarization, of course, at the end, and and things like, for example, yeah, that's also organization. Thanks a lot. Let me clear numbers here. Look and confirm that you were absolutely right. Another thing which is quite, well, of course, you know most of these linkers. Some of them maybe not so often used. Yeah, although there were as while to show, well, contrast, yes, or all the same, however, nevertheless, they are adverbs also showing concession, sometimes contrast, sometimes something else, despite and in spite of prepositions, and contrast and opposition, it's but, conversely, in contrast, instead, on the other hand, etc., and some others. Could you rephrase these sentences, please? The things in the bracket, don't think that you need to use both of them. It's just that you may use one or the other. Thank you, Julia. Should be trained, but they also should be encouraged. What about all the same? Anastasia, thank you for the attempt. As I've said before, we don't need to use both of the linking words, linking expressions in the same sentence. One of them will do. Julia wrote an example with but. How can we use all the same? If all the same and but are in the same sentence, that would be excessive use of contrasting linking devices. Anybody else has an idea? Teachers should be encouraged to do the same. Thank you, Anastasia, for rephrasing your sentence. Let's look. Oh, sorry, wrong answer. Где же у меня правильный? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to put it here. Okay, teachers should be encouraged all the same. Yes, I don't have the answers here, I'm afraid, but the sentence that Julia suggested, teachers should be trained to prepare carefully, but they also should be encouraged. And teachers should be trained, they should be encouraged to improve when necessary, all the same. Okay, let's thank you for doing this. With the next sentence, you well, see the answer all right away. Right, the use of although. Note that although is used in the same sentence, but nevertheless starts a new one. And let's more carefully. Okay. Right. I'm sorry. I messed up my own presentation. Right. All the same. All the same. Yeah, your example was with all the same at the end, but here it is used in the beginning, and again it starts a new sentence, while but is used as part of the sentence in the middle. Right. I'm really sorry. What happened to my presentation? I have all the answers right away. I'm sorry. It wasn't planned like this. Right. I'm sorry. Well, you know, despite what's the what is the peculiarity, specific thing about despite and in spite of. I'm absolutely sure you know, all of you know it. When we use despite or in spite of, obviously we need a noun or a ning form after it, and see how the structure of the sentence changes when we paraphrase it with the use of these linkers. At the same time, on the other hand, is an introductory phrase, and it starts a new sentence again. Right, yeah. Despite without a preposition of, right, and in spite is always with of, but what I meant is what we use after. They both require a direct object, yes, as Julia mentioned it very correctly. And yes, the direct object should be a noun or an ing phrase, ing form. One other is contrary to, in contrast with, sentence. Again, we can use contrary to as an introduction. But in contrast with can be used in the sentence. And again, the use of a linking device, of the contrast linking device, means the change of the sentence. Well, I'm really sorry that I didn't give you a chance to do it yourself. But you can do this. So some of these phrases are about similarity, some about the difference. Could we ask Olesya, who uses drawing on this board in a really professional way, to underline the linkers for us? Olesya has mastered. Oh no, not only Olesya. Here is Evgenia. Yes, on the other hand, thank you. Thank you, Olesya and Evgenia. And what about sentence number 3? Yeah, the question. Yes, thank you, Anastasia and Evgenia. Yes, when we use different from, we can continue with in that, and after that there goes a clause explaining the difference. Here we are. Right, as you did it, so the similar expressions are on the left, the expressions showing difference are on the right, and you see that are different from is used with in that, and are similar in that also. And here we are. This time there are no answers right away. Could you please use the expressions in the sentences? Oh, sorry. All right, I see the answers in the chat. Yes. And good. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the same way. Right. Let us. Thank you very much for everybody who is participating. Let's check the chart as well. Yes, I think it's the same here. Galina, Ekaterina, and Yulia. All right. Yes. Let us in the same way. Yes, to show similarity. Here are the answers. Both Wales and Ireland, just as we did it. Similar in that. Then on the other hand, in number 3, in contrast, no, whereas or in contrast, yeah, you can't use in contrast in number 4 because there is no comma, right? There was no comma there. That's why whereas is better. And in the same way, in number 5, that was absolutely correct. Okay. Well, number, yeah, whereas, mostly people use whereas in number 4. Okay, let's move on. This time, the cause, reason, purpose, and result linkers are here. So could you quickly write number 1 next to cause, number 2 next to reason, next number 3 next to purpose and result linkers. Oh, sorry, yes, number 2 cause, number 1 cause, reason, number 2 purpose and result. Reason, number 1. Thank you. Yeah, reason 4 would be number 2, of course. With the aim, purpose and result, thank you. Number 2, Evgenia, thanks. Motives are the same as reasons. Great. Yeah, on the grounds that would be the cause or the reason. And people are starting using the linkers. So mostly I have in number 1 reason 4. Okay, yes. This the aim of, right? Yes, of course. On the grounds, and to prompt, is it the cause, reason, or purpose and result? Nobody categorized to prompt. Reason. Great. Could you now complete the sentences? Please. So number 4, I see number 4. Okay, I have all the answers from Anastasia. She puts reason 4 in number 1. reason for in number 1. What prompted him in number 2. Number 3 with the aim of. Number 4 on the grounds of. Okay, and in number 5, motives. Motives, yes. Right, yes, Yelena also puts motives into number 5. Let's see the answers here. Here they are. You're absolutely right. Again, here it's not just a conjunction that we put between two clauses, but it's a phrase, a structural phrase that is integrated into the sentence and requires particular grammar. Well, I want to point out that the reason for requires a gerund or a noun, so some object. Prompted also goes with an object and with the infinitive construction, prompt somebody to do something. With the aim of, as any prepositional phrase requires an object, a noun or an ing form. On the grounds goes with that and the clause after it. And motives is just a word that is structurally inherent to the sentence. Okay, here there are 5 sentences. Also put them together into one using all the same phrases that were used previously. I'm opening the chart so that I can see. Okay, Julia wrote for number 1, I didn't contact you because, but you need to use reason, the word reason. And yeah, the word that is in brackets should be used in the resulting sentence. Alexandra, you need to change your... You can't use because in number 2, Galina. Use grounds, the word grounds, the expression with grounds. Yeah, so I see the sentence from Julia for number 1. The reason I didn't contact you is that, I would say was that. The reason why I didn't contact you was that, yes. The reason why I didn't contact you was that I'd lost your phone number. All right, I didn't contact you for the reason that I'd lost your phone number. Oh, the reason, okay, for the reason that I didn't contact you by reasons of having lost. By reasons. Well, probably it is possible, but I wouldn't say it's the most the perfect choice. I didn't contact you for the reason that I'd. Yeah, all right. What about number 2 with grounds? On sign the contact on the grounds that it's illegal. Yeah, this one is easier, right? When you understand what to do. Oh, we have a spelling mistake in government. Government, of course, yes, Ekaterina. I've just seen it, just like you did. All right, so with the government, with the sentence about the government and the laws, you need to use aim. Yes, of course, with the aim of, and what goes after of? All right, I see numbers 2 again on the ground that it's illegal. By an illegal ground. Alexander, I don't think that would work. It will change the meaning if we use it like that. Passed a new law with the aim of controlling prices. Yes, of course. So with the aim of plus an ing gerundal construction or some noun. The aim of the government passing a new law was to control prices, Ekaterina. I applaud you. That's a very interesting paraphrasing with the aim of controlling prices. Right. Ekaterina did a very, very beautiful rephrasing of the sentence using the aim of, but changing the words. Law to control. Yes, of course, it can be done simpler with the infinitive of purpose, right? But with the aim of makes it a more interesting one, right? Let's look at number 4, motives. Actually, with unknown motives. Okay, Julia, that's beautiful. I wonder what her motives were in sending everyone flowers. All right, that could work. I wonder what were her motives to send everyone flowers. Thank you, Yelena. What made her send flowers? Galina, that's great, but you didn't use motive, the word motive. And that's the key word. Okay. And we move on to number 5. The husband prompted her to apply for the job. Yes, that's a little bit easier, right? Prompt somebody to do something, and we understand that the connection is just like that. Alexander, you're doing it, you are overcomplicating things. And your sentence is not entirely correct grammatically. Yes, we understand that the high level of the salary was the reason for her job application. So the salary prompted her to apply for the job. Yes, okay, let's check this. The reason. Then we explain what kind of reason it was the reason for what it was I'd lost phone number, not sign on the grounds that with passed a law with the aim of doing something. Motives were in sending everyone flowers. So and okay, and the high salary prompted her to apply for the job. Also says motive for. Marina, do you mean we need to say, I wonder what her motives for sending everyone flowers were? Yes. All right, maybe. This one is also a working situation. Okay, and very similar, with a different set of linking phrases. They are again about reason, result, and also purpose or aim. I'm awaiting your answers. So owing to the fact is something that I think is taught in school. Got a refund on the grounds that, yes, of course, Nadezhda, we can use on the grounds of as well. Yes. Cancelled owing to the fact. Yes. Yes, and of course we can put the clauses, the clauses in different order. Owing to the fact that the performance was cancelled, everyone got a refund, or everyone got a refund owing to the fact that the performance was cancelled. The meaning doesn't change here. Okay, thanks. Number 2. Julia starts with number 2. The slow service. Not exactly. Anastasia, well, Anastasia has a more correct use of consequently. It's a introductory phrase. I mean, it should be in the beginning of a sentence with a comma. Yes. The service was terribly slow. Consequently, yes, all the customers got angry. Yeah. Consequently is a word similar to things like however, for example, which we put at the beginning of the sentence to show contrast to the previous sentence. The same way consequently is used in the next sentence to show that the previous sentence is connected to it. Slow. And consequently, yes, yes, or we can do it like that with an end. Okay. All right, Alexander, you missed the punctuation in your sentence, but otherwise it's quite nice. Okay. As a result of not working, okay. Yeah, so Maria, you all right, Julia, thank you very much for 2 variants. Yeah, so we can use as a result of with an ing form, but we also can use it as a phrase that starts the next sentence. He didn't work, as a result he failed his exams. To change the tense and past perfect in the sentence, Evgenia, let me see, in which sentence he hadn't worked. We may put a stress on that, make use work in past perfect, but there's no particular need because the actions are mentioned in the same order. Sequence of actions, yes, in the past. The sequence of actions in the sentence mirrors the sequence of actions in the past. Okay, there's a lot of, okay, Julia with number 4. Thank you, Julia, for moving us along. There was a lot of protest last year to spark Alexander, there's no idleness. Oh, well, thank you. You rephrased the didn't work. Alexander in number 3 rephrased it. Thank you. That's great. Prices sparked off a lot of protest. Marina, last year, which, okay, Galina, prices rose sharply last year, which sparked with the relative clause. To spark off a lot of protest. And Yelena, okay, your variant is great too, I think. A lot of protest last year were sparked off, but okay, why not use the passive here? Yeah, that's also possible. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the use of passive always moves the text into the direction of formality. Right, and number 5. Julia is the first again. His remarks were insulting, which resulted in everyone's being angry. Great. His insulting remarks resulted in everyone getting angry. His insult, yes. Yeah, I see 3 variants like that. Insulting remarks resulted in plus an ink form. I'm not sure you need a possessive after everyone. His insulting remarks resulted in everyone's getting angry. This part of all right. His insulting remarks resulted in everyone getting angry. Right. Yeah, thank you, Marina. Yes. With the gerund, you can use a possessive. All right. Let's look at the answers here. Here they are. So owing to the fact that in number 2, consequently starts the next sentence with a comma after it. The same goes for as a result. But of course, you can rephrase it. And in number 4, what? The sharp rise in prices. Notice how the prices rose sharply is transformed here into a noun phrase. They sparked off a lot of protest. With a lot of different renditions of this sentence, the one that is given here is the shortest and explains the thought the most clearly, I think. And in number 5, his insulting remarks resulting in everyone getting angry. Gulnara, because that is, Gulnara's question is about everyone's in the possessive case. That's because how gerund works. With gerundial constructions, this is possible. All right, and let's clear. No, it's my picture. Okay, the last thing to do about discourse markers now, yeah, the complex gerundial construction. Yes, exactly. The last thing to do now is I've prepared a set of questions. They are similar, maybe a little bit easier than what you will see in the test tomorrow. Yeah, I see the first answers already. Yeah, that's quite quite easy, isn't it? Especially after you've done some tasks with more complicated linking phrases than but or also and. Yes. Yeah, obviously the answer is C in this one. Thank you, everybody. Next. Okay, this time there are differences. I see A and B somewhere here. Oh dear. The moon. I see B and A in number 2. Actually, of course, the answer is B. With B, the moon is the subject of the sentence. There is no relative clause here, Julia. Yeah, there is a relative clause, of course. That's why the answer is not the moon, because the moon is not an optical illusion, which appears larger on the horizon than it does overhead, is the relative clause, yes. But what is the subject of the main clause? What is an optical illusion? Is it the moon? And is it a relative clause? Actually, the answer here is C. And the whole phrase that comes before is a subject of the sentence. That the moon appears larger on the horizon than it does overhead. This is our subject. Is merely an optical illusion. You see how a simple, at the first sight it's simple, but you need to be really attentive. Yes. Yes, of course we can say the fact that the moon, but it would have made it much simpler. And yeah, the fact is like omitted. Yes. So it proved a little bit. So yeah, the answer here is C. The correct answer is C. C is absolutely possible. Yes, it's not only possible, it's the answer, the correct answer here. Okay, next, about the automobile. And there are two different kinds of relative clauses are suggested. And okay, and this time I only see one answer. No, not one. Somebody says B. A lot of D's. And a B. Right. Okay, the answer is of course D. No, whose actually can be also used with objects. Who cannot be used with object, but whose can. It is used, yes, thank you, Julia. It is used both for people and objects, yes, when it refers to possession, right. Why B is not correct? Of course, which is a good relative word for using to use with the engine, but we can't say which engine because the meaning of the sentence will go away. Whose engine? The engine is in the automobile, so it's automobile's engine. That's why possession. The automobile whose engine was overhauled last year. Right. Why not which? If we use which, then everything that goes after talks about the automobile. The automobile which was overhauled. If we say which engine, then the sentence doesn't make any sense. The automobile which, the relative clause should talk about the automobile. It can't talk about the engine. All right. How interesting. Very well, things that seemed quite simple suddenly spark a discussion. Let's go on. Next one. So is it contrast? Is it reason? Of course. Well, and this looks like a unanimous decision. Everybody say B. Right. Yes, 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 of course. So we have two parts in the sentence and they are contrasting. Right. Thank you, Alisa. Yeah. So Kintara and other students from his group, probably they prepared well, but performed poorly, and although shows us this contrast. All right. I think it's the last one. So I'll clean it up. What do you think about this one? Number 5, the answers are A and A and A. And a lot of A's, right? Yeah, of course. So we have, well, we obviously can't use C here because it's not a question. And in every other option there is about. About requires an object, right? And this object here is the gerundial construction, and you can notice that the possessive is used. Students paying online websites. Right. Okay, I think that is all about discourse markers, and it means that we have time for listening. Yes. You probably noticed that the subject, the topics of listening this year are quite closely connected to different business situations. One, I believe, was about advertising. The other was about, I know both of them, they are about the strategies of company, of changes in the company, either with the new executor or some problems and good sides of the company, the analysis of the company, work by a student. So I've decided to concentrate a little bit, to practice a little bit, some listening connected to such topics. Here, what we see here is a listening task with the situation where two senior managers discuss an applicant to the job of an assistant manager. Of course, when we do this online, as it will be happening tomorrow, there are some things you need to take into account. For example, not every person is comfortable about doing listening online. So you have to open this window where the listening is playing. You need to see all the questions at once, and you can't write anything on paper because your task is on screen, not on paper. So how do we approach such situation? What can help you in dealing with the situation when you need to do listening online? Any tips people can share? Okay, yes, Galina, making notes when listening, obviously. Yes, of course, you can use a sheet of paper while listening. It's actually, I think, advised. So the window that opens for you to play the recording contains all the questions. Yes, mark keywords. Right. Also, another thing about listening is that you actually have some time before the recording starts, right? And what can you do to help yourself before you start listening? Of course, 1 minute is very little, but that is a standard time that is given in any exam. Yeah, so what to do, how to effectively use this 1 minute to prepare yourself to what comes in the recording. Of course, go through the questions and try to predict the possible answers. Right. Read the questions, obviously. I'm not sure, but probably yes. Yes, I think you can move between the questions in the task. Oh, yes, it is. Close the door, put a sign, don't come. Yes, of course. That's very important, to allow yourself a space where nobody bothers you as long as your time online is with the Olympiad. Right. Well, what we can do here, of course, in the task, you are given some information about the situation. The situation here is that there are two people, they're all senior managers, and they are discussing their candidate when that candidate is not in the room. And of course, they would be discussing the advantages and disadvantages of the candidate, his strong and weak, his stronger and weaker sides. They would be also mentioning what kind of tasks he would need to perform. Well, 8 questions, it's quite a lot, so let's concentrate on the first 4 only. If we have time, we can go back. What kind of words and expressions do you think you will hear connected to the 3 options of the first question? So one of the things that you can do when predicting is think of possible things, possible words and expressions that you can hear in relation to different options. We need to, well, obviously we need to, right? If it's plans to change corporate culture, we need to, because it's plans, right? Corporate culture. What can be said about corporate culture? Because yes, in option A, the key concepts are that it is a plan and that it concerns corporate culture. Background, maybe, but the background of the candidate could be important in any of the situations, in 1 and 2 and 3. The way the company works, all right, yes. Change the rules, Alexander, thank you. Okay, change the rules can be applied to the practices that the management uses. Hierarchy of staff refers to A, B, or C. And levels of management, yes, right. All right. Of course. So, of course, it's good to clearly differentiate the options. If we look again at question 23, in A, that would be the idea is plans. They should talk about the future, and corporate culture. So the way people are interacting, doing things, the rules of the company. In B, that would be criticizing something, talking about the shortcomings of the practices that already exist. In C, that would be talking about working environment, if it's corporate culture, of course. And in C, that would be about the whole company, the changes, what they do differently, are going to do differently in all the company, not only in corporate culture, not only in management, but overall. Okay, so in 24, the focus of the question is the reasons for applying. If it's about having a more challenging role, what can be said about it? Yes, of course, if we think in this way, but it needs actually it needs practice. If we start practicing like that, our brain starts working in that direction on its own. Not challenging enough, right? Yes, 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 obviously. Okay. Full use of qualifications. What about full use, more responsibilities? Great. Raise profile within the company. He's ambitious, right? Ambitious if he wants to raise his profile, his aims. Great. Okay. Lucina, nice to hear you, to see you. Have you just joined? All right, promotion, yes, that's for raising the profile. Lack of something in the previous place, yes, thank you. Number 25, we have John, and he's particularly impressed, so he should talk about some of Collins's achievements. Yes, something that struck John's attention, attracted his attention. If we are talking about a dissatisfied client, right, improve CV, that's about question 24. Let's move on to number 25. Do more prediction here. Dissatisfied, manage to calm the client, thank you. Right. If it's a unreliable supplier, witnessed, Alexander witnessed what? That John witnessed something, all right. Exposed, he's been there, okay, thank you. Solve problems with clients, if it's option A, great. Thank you, Victoria. Solve the problem with, yeah, but solve the problem with could be about actually anything. Calm and stressful, that's about I'm not sure. Right. So the difference between the three options in 25, of course, would be that it's different people, the client, the supplier, and the staff member. but also we need to take into account the difference in the situation. When it's the client, it's the dissatisfaction, dissatisfied. If it's a supplier, that's some issue with supplying, that the supplier is at fault. And the option with the member of the staff, that it was an inefficient member of staff. So dissatisfaction, unreliability, and inefficiency, different things. Okay, and finally, question 26. So John will probably talk about some impressive situation which involved Colin, and the other person, Deborah, will talk about strengths that Colin already has, right? Because she comments his current strength, not what he will have in the future probably, but what he already has. Yes, of course, the intonation of the speaker always helps, obviously. Yes. Yeah, that's one thing that we have to pay attention to, the intonation. Analyze situation, right? That's about option A. Categorize, thank you. The product knowledge. The flexible approach, B and C. Knows every item, great, yes. Product awareness, very good. Product rate and purchase, that he knows the product. Okay, what about flexible approach? Yes, that's about B. Gulnara, thank you. Compromise, you mean, Victoria, you probably meant compromises. Yeah, compromises, maybe difference in approach. Right. Also, we need to understand that this is something that she comments. Grammar, of course, grammar can help, obviously. Well, clients and so, thank you, Elena, for your thoughts. Of course, when we listen, we need to pay attention to the intonation. Somebody wrote it a bit about it, and they were absolutely right. Also, the logical stress. Yes, which words are especially stressed, which have more stress on them. Oh, compliance. Gulnara, thanks. That's a great input. Also, never stop listening, because the critical information can come right after you've decided you have the right answer. You know how sometimes people talk about, talk about one subject, then comes however, and everything changes. And see the difference, see the context. Don't rely on keywords. Look at the context. Okay, why don't we listen now? Let me see. Yes.
Part 3, questions 23 to 30.
Can everybody hear the recording? Good. So I continue.
You will hear a discussion between two senior managers, John and Deborah, about an assistant manager, Colin, who has applied for a new post. For each question, 23 to 30, mark one letter, A, B or C, for the correct answer. After you have listened once, replay the recording. You have 45 seconds to read through the questions.
Okay. That's the time where you read the questions and make your notes and think, start your brain thinking about possible words and expressions.
Now listen and mark A, B or C.
Well, Deborah, we need to think about the candidates who've put in applications for the post of area manager.
Yes, John. It's an exciting new role, and it fits in with the strategy development plan.
Quite. It's part of a logical progression in our approach to management, carefully consolidating our skills base. It should mean a new chain of command, but based on tried and tested methods. We'll be stronger as a result.
Well, that's the idea. Now, the first one that's come in is from Colin.
The assistant manager for the South East.
Yes, Colin's clearly keen.
But of course, it's an attractive proposition.
And I think that's what's drawn him. He's said his current post is demanding, as well he might, but that he's keen to position himself in the spotlight here. Reading between the lines, I think the alternative, as he sees it, is to move sideways to IT, which is where his background is. It would be a shame to lose someone like him. He's hungry.
Yes, it's a genuine application. He's a serious contender. I was struck recently, I think it was last month, by his problem-solving abilities. He was passed a complaint. It wasn't really his problem at all, but he took it up anyway, about some faulty goods we'd supplied, apparently. I think he saw it as an efficiency issue, and so relevant to any responsible person here. And he reacted really well, so that the customer went away happy after all.
Right, and that suggests the qualities that are most germane to the job. Ultimately, I suppose we're looking for a level of adaptability that it's fair to say someone in his position may not have had the chance to really demonstrate yet. But his familiarity with the goods we produce is second to none, so I think the signs are there that he may become an astute analyst and problem solver.
That's certainly encouraging.
Okay, I stop here. I see something in the chat. Yeah, we're now doing numbers 23, 24, 25, and 26, because I hope to discuss the answers. All right. Okay, so we are you ready to discuss the answers, or yes, once more? Yeah, that's what I thought. Somebody already written the answers. Okay, Yulia, maybe you just check once more. Yeah, let's do it. Let me.
Part 3.
I will just.
For each question, 23 to 30.
45 seconds. Somewhere here.
Now listen and mark A, B or C.
Well, Deborah, we need to think about the candidates who've put in applications for the post of area manager.
Yes, John. It's an exciting new role, and it fits in with the strategy development plan.
Quite. It's part of a logical progression in our approach to management, carefully consolidating our skills base. It should mean a new chain of command, but based on tried and tested methods. We'll be stronger as a result.
Well, that's the idea. Now, the first one that's come in is from Colin.
The assistant manager for the South East.
Yes, Colin's clearly keen.
But of course, it's an attractive proposition.
And I think that's what's drawn him. He's said his current post is demanding, as well he might, but that he's keen to position himself in the spotlight here. Reading between the lines, I think the alternative, as he sees it, is to move sideways to IT, which is where his background is. It would be a shame to lose someone like him. He's hungry.
Yes, it's a genuine application. He's a serious contender. I was struck recently, I think it was last month, by his problem-solving abilities. He was passed a complaint. It wasn't really his problem at all, but he took it up anyway, about some faulty goods we'd supplied, apparently. I think he saw it as an efficiency issue, and so relevant to any responsible person here. And he reacted really well, so that the customer went away happy after all.
Right. And that suggests the qualities that are most germane to the job. Ultimately, I suppose we're looking for a level of adaptability that it's fair to say someone in his position may not have had the chance to really demonstrate yet. But his familiarity with the goods we produce is second to none. So I think the signs are there that he may become an astute analyst and problem solver.
That's certainly encouraging.
Okay, so I stop here and I'm awaiting your answers. And okay, there is and they vary. Okay. Yeah. Very, very, very different answers I have. So let us discuss what helped you in Okay, so the correct answer to number 23 is C. Many people have these answers. Can you share what helped you to choose it? What have you heard that talked about the overall company structure? Yes, they talked about a strategy development plan. Yes. And a new change of command. Exactly. So these two. No, area development strategy was not area, that was new new development strategy. They did not criticize. Yes, Julia, I agree with you. Nothing was about criticizing. And it wasn't about culture. It was about the structure of the company, the whole company. New chain of command suggests that it was about the company structure, and development plan was about that. New area, the post wasn't the new area. Yes, they were hiring a new area manager. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Of course, yeah, and that people are writing things like it was neither criticism nor the plan to incorporate structure, says that, of course, you can work by opting out things that are clearly not there and choosing your answer based on what was not there for sure. Yes, Julia is moving on to question 2. He's very keen and hungry. Yes, well, that he is very keen and hungry shows that he has an interest in this position. It doesn't say what exactly he wants, but that he wants to put himself in the spotlight. That's the key phrase here that helps us to choose answer C. Again, answer C. They talk about his qualifications and about his background in IT, and they don't say that he wants to use more of them. And his position now is already quite challenging and demanding. Yes. All right. What about number 25, the third question? What is John impressed about? Yes, but problem-solving abilities are not one of the options. And the customer went away happy. The C is correct in number 24. Alicia, I've circled it as well as I could. Yeah, in 25, the correct answer would be A. He treated a dissatisfied client. The client went away happy. The customer was happy at the end. Option B is mentioned when John says that they supplied some faulty goods. And the efficiency was mentioned when he said that Colin saw that situation as an efficiency problem. Yeah, there was a complaint and the customer went away happy at the end as a result of Colin's intervention. And finally, number 26. What do you think about it? Knows our goods. Okay, quite a lot of. Well, actually, Julia there has the correct answer. His product knowledge. So the answer is B. Deborah said his familiarity with the goods. The familiarity with the goods we produce is second to none. Yes, Marina and Yelena noticed that phrase. Well done. Yeah. Speaking about analytical skills, Deborah said that he would may become a good analyst. And as for flexibility, her phrase was that we need the level of flexibility and adaptability that the person in his position, in his current position, may not have had. What she says is that they need flexibility for the position, but Colin hasn't yet had the chance to demonstrate his. Maybe she doesn't know if he will be flexible or not because he hasn't demonstrated it yet, but he knows the product very well and he has the abilities for analytical work, right? Okay, so of course you can find some online practice. Look for C2 listening, that would be part, okay, multiple choice. C2 multiple choice or business hire multiple choice. And that is all I wanted to do today. Thank you everybody who was who took time to work with us today, practice some things. I wish everybody best of luck tomorrow. Hope you will have a space for yourself where nobody nobody comes and asks questions and asks for help and to do something and starts making noise around. That your internet works perfectly and nothing stops in the middle. And thank you very much again. Yes. I wish everybody victory. Oh, Yelena, I'm not sure. You should check that on the site of the Olympiad. I'm not sure at all about the time. Better check. Yeah, Maria has your answer, 10 o'clock. Moscow time, I believe. Yes, thank you, everybody. I may stop the presentation now. Look at some of the photos at least. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I stop now. Thanks again and good luck. Best of luck to you. Yes, you will get the presentation, Alessa. Goodbye.